Hi, good morning and good afternoon. This is Tammy Recton, and welcome to today's broadcast, How to Maximize Your Local and Social Visibility for Your Brand. As I mentioned, I'm Tammy Recton. I'm the Director of Business Development at CIM Partners, and I will be your moderator for today. This webcast is being presented to you by CIM Partners, and we'll have a recording available shortly after the webcast finishes. Couple housekeeping items before we begin. A copy of the webinar will be sent to you. All phones are on mute. So if you have any questions throughout this presentation, please type those questions or chat those in the input box on the right-hand side of your screen. It will be answered at the end of the webinar. If you encounter any technical difficulties, please just type those into the screen and we'll answer those during the webinar. If you're tweeting, the hashtag is #CIMPartners. That's SIMPARTNERS. We have a great lineup today. So here are the presenters. We have Jay Hawkinson, who's a partner of CIM Partners, and he's the expert at local and social marketing.
Hello.
That's Jay. He's been in the industry for over 20 years. He has 20 years of sales, marketing, and merchandising experience, including over 12 years of online marketing, specializing in organic search optimization and paid search advertising. In 2006, Jay joined John Shepke and Adam Dorfman at CIM Partners as an equity partner developing e-commerce solutions and products for the travel and hospitality vertical. We also have with us today Deanna Sandman, who's the social media analyst at CIM Partners. Deanna is the resident social media expert. Feel free to say hi.
Hi.
Deanna is in charge of several enterprise-level social media accounts and is responsible for creating and managing Facebook ads and Google Plus business pages. And I, as I mentioned, am the Director of Business Development. I started my career in print advertising and in 2006 moved to digital. Never looked back. So been in charge for digital marketing here and since 2009, and I'm the point person of establishing and managing new business relationships. So the agenda for today, just so we're all on the same page, I just wanted to define SOLOMO, which is social, local, and mobile search marketing. So again, any time that we mention SOLOMO, it encompasses social, local, and mobile. So to begin, we will start off with the landscape of social, local, and mobile advertising, and we have a short video for that. The convergence of SOLOMO plus search, social ROI, Google plus local, search and social signals. We have Apple's plan, Siri search, and Maps rollout, which Jay will be covering, and also what's ahead with social marketing and marketing automation. So that's the agenda for today. And to start off, we do have a brief video that just goes over the SOLOMO landscape. So there's a lot of great content, a lot of statistics that you should be aware of, and one that really grabbed my attention was 91% of Facebook users have at one point used Facebook to search for a business. So that's staggering number there, number of users looking on Facebook for businesses. And Deanna Sandman is going to speak to us about sponsored stories and different ways to promote your business on Facebook. So Deanna?
Great, thank you, Tammy. Okay, so there are several different types of Facebook advertisements out there available to businesses. With over 900 million users now on Facebook, obviously a really great way to gain some exposure and get your brand out there. So the first type of Facebook ad we're going to talk about is Facebook sponsored stories. And sponsored stories are basically anytime somebody engages with your page, you can actually create an ad around that. So it can be when somebody likes your page, they like or comment on a page post, RSVP to an event, and you'll see there's more listed there. But it shows that really if you post very engaging content that people are going to be interacting with, there's a lot of potential there to build ads around that. And this is your dashboard here. Facebook does a really nice job of giving you some analytics and some tools for you to use to really see how your campaigns are running and how they're doing. This is our campaign for SIM partners. You'll see that it fluctuates with the different ads that we're posting on there. You can also see your reach, and you can see your click-through rates and everything on there. So sponsored posts are another type of Facebook advertisement, and this is essentially when you post on your page, you can then promote that post to get that into people's news feeds and also on the right-hand side of their Facebook page. We ran a campaign for 3 weeks. We had really great results with a 3.65% social click-through rate, which is really great for Facebook advertisements. Close to 5,000 clicks, almost 10,000 actions. Actions are anytime anybody interacts with that advertisement, whether they liked the post or commented on the post or shared the post, or if they liked your page. And all of this was for a relatively small investment. We gained around 500, and it's probably more at this point, 500 new fans. And we saw a significant increase in the number of people talking about the SIM Partners page, our viral activity, and just the overall engagement on our page was definitely higher because of these Facebook ads. And then the last type of Facebook ad I want to talk about here is the promoted post, and this is relatively new. You actually create this ad on your page. So once you've posted, you'll see there in the bottom right-hand corner, there's a little blue button that says promote. If you drop down, you will see that you can select a set amount of, whether it's $10, $15, or $20, and that basically just gets that post out there to a larger audience. Many people don't know, but according to Facebook, roughly only 16% of your fan base will see the post that you're generating. So this is a great way, if you have an important post about a blog post that you've recently put up or a webinar that you're going to host, this is a great way to get more eyes viewing that post. And then also something interesting that I put on there is that Facebook is also testing this for personal accounts. So. And then Jay is going to talk a little bit about the more traditional Facebook advertising. So.
Yeah, we talk about advertising. You can also advertise brands, and businesses can also advertise on Facebook. Very traditionally, using a pay-per-click type of advertising that can show up either in general search, and Tammy had brought up that great stat out. People are searching for businesses, local businesses, and general businesses, brands in Facebook now, and so you have the opportunity to show up either in those results if you're a brand or business, or again on the side where you can where businesses can either advertise a product or a service, or even just have their own message, like potentially like a charity. And Target's a great example here, where you can actually click on an ad that Target has about being able to give with Target, and then when you click on that, it actually takes you to Target's application within Facebook, and you can a really great additional piece of advertising is to create applications within Facebook to promote your business, product, or service. And you can do that like Target's done here, where you click on an ad, it takes you within Facebook to an application, and you can actually sign up and give to their organizations, to their charity organization, through their Facebook application. And what's nice about it is that you know, when you see that, you see the ad, you go through this experience, you donate, you contribute via Facebook, and then once you've done that, it actually shows up in your own activity on your Facebook page, so that all your friends, all your contacts that see your page are also seeing this. So for Target, this is a great thing because, one, it's traditional advertising, but you know, whereas you know, an experience like if you're in Google search, for example, and you've got a pay-per-click ad, and you click on that, that's really only a very individual experience, personal experience, whereas in Facebook, the difference is that you're actually, all your friends or contacts are able to see this activity on your Facebook page. So it's really a way for Target to expand that message, increase the visibility of it, and you know, it's one of another reason why Facebook is a great audience for doing advertising. So quickly to summarize, Facebook key takeaways is really focusing on engagement and amplification rather than just likes. Likes are definitely great. It's something that you can always, as Deanna mentioned, you can always do things like sponsored stories to promote likes and to increase likes. It's always a good thing, but because Facebook is so social in nature, and that's what we're talking about here, engaging with your users, your followers, is big. But then in addition to that, getting them to amplify what your messages and your content. And that advertising is what's really just driving that discovery of content. You know, you provide something out there via advertising or sponsored story, and then you're getting your followers to share that story with their friends and contacts. So it's really a way of increasing that exposure, the visibility through a social channel. And then of course, using that advertising and content to drive additional search queries. So somebody, for example, I see on my contacts or my friend's page that he gave through Target, I'd be very interested in that, and potentially could do a search query to find out more about that. So you definitely, it's definitely another way to get people interested in your product or service or message. And then the key performance indicators, it's really a hybrid between a cost per click type of engagement and a cost per impression, because the awareness, just having the advertising there and people seeing it is really, not as great, obviously, as having somebody click through, but it's also great in terms of branding and awareness, increasing that visibility. And then lastly, Deanna showed the dashboard for sponsored stories, but being able to use that in addition to your normal analytics and tracking, so that you can actually attribute what people are doing and the activity that they're doing, through Facebook, and then if you're sending them out to your website, and being able to attribute that to social media and through Facebook is extremely important, so that you can actually know what type of traction you're getting through Facebook. So Facebook, of course, is the 800-pound gorilla in the corner, but now you've got Google+, Google Plus Business, Google Plus Local, and I want to talk a little bit about that, because that is really right now the fastest growing social media network. So Google, after sort of the huge success of Facebook, was kind of sitting back saying, how can we better understand our search? Because as we all know, Google is the biggest search engine. They're the #1 search engine. They want to stay the #1 search engine. So how do they do that? How do they remain at the top? How do they improve what they've already done with search, which has been pretty phenomenal so far, but it hasn't been, I think they're always looking for new ways to improve what they're doing with search. So Google wants to better understand their searchers' interests. How do they do that? How can they provide more relevant search results? Well, one way to do this is really gathering social signals. And rather than sort of piggyback on a Facebook or piggyback on Twitter, it's like, for Google, it's like, hey, let's create our own social network, and that's Google+. And that's using those social signals to derive those results. And when we talk about those type of results in search, we're talking about personalized results. So if you have a Google account, and many people do have a Google account, you're probably seeing these type of personalized results. Well, let's talk about some things about Google Plus before we get into the results. Let's talk about 75% of the top 100 brands are now in Google+. Of those Google+ pages, 30% are displaying in search results for brands. You're seeing this more and more as Google's incorporating Google+ profiles into their search results. Of the top 10 big brands, over 9 million of them have, of those top 10 big brands, they have over 9 million fans already that are following them via Google+. They're very top-heavy too in terms of with automotive, Toyota, BMW, for example. Internationally, the visits rose over 66% in this past year, from 67 million to 110 million. And then just total unique visitors, just from last November, have gone up from 15 million to 27 million, an increase of 82%. And like I said, it is the fastest growing network, and right now, over 400 million people have upgraded to Google+. But again, talking about personalized results, which I was referring to earlier, you're probably seeing this more and more, where you actually, when you're doing a search, you're seeing results that are personalized. And when we say personalized, these results are personalized based on previous searches that you've done. But then in addition, if you are logged into Google, and you have friends that are following you, or friends that you're following in your own circles, businesses, brands that you're following, you're starting to see results in Google based off of your Google+ profile. So these are tailored to the searcher. So for example, if a friend of mine likes Coca-Cola, for example, or is following Coca-Cola, I have a better chance of seeing Coca-Cola when I'm doing a search for soft drinks than I would for another brand, because of my friends being in following them, having them in his circles. So another way to do that, another way to get these personalized results are +1s, and you're seeing these +1 buttons all across the internet now, with different businesses and brands, web pages, blog posts where people can +1. So if I'm doing a search, it could be anything. It could be a search for, let's say, the new iPhone, for example. You know, there's a greater chance of me seeing results of friends that have +1 an article or a blog post, or added, content to their circles, than there is seeing something that wasn't, simply because I'm logged into Google, I'm seeing these results, my friends are engaging in this activity, and I'm seeing that. So we'll show you some examples of that coming up, but it's, again, Google's way of actually improving their search, because now I'm getting even more relevant results, because I'm seeing things that the friends that I trust, and friends, things that they're doing in activity, or brands that I already trust, and adding those to my circles. So for Google, in addition to having the social network, of course, they wanted to have a place for businesses to be able to engage and be active with their fans and followers. So of course, they have this Google Plus business page, which for Google, for businesses, it's been great, because one, they can actually do more from a social media standpoint. They can actually add photos, engage with their followers. They can put content out there. It's very similar to what you do on Facebook, and again, increase their +1 votes, because that's helping them in the search engine. So for them, for a business to be to have a Google Plus business page, it's extremely important. Of course, we have one of the SIM partners, and we'll show you, what that looks like. But it's something that, again, for search engine, because Google is using the social signals from the Google Plus business page, it's extremely important to have that, because the more activity you have with that Google Plus business page, the better overall you can do in terms of search, because Google's like, okay, they're engaged, they're active, they're doing stuff, in Google Plus, so let's use those signals for our search engine, for people doing searches around that. And then as an example of that, you can see actually here in Google Plus, when you do a search for SIM partners, you'll see different elements throughout the page, the search results page, that actually show you where it's pulling from social media, and in particular also Google Plus. There's a Google Plus box on the side. There's photographs. There's a lot more activity in terms of results activity, because of having the Google Plus page in addition to Facebook. So recently, this year, at the end of May, Google Places actually converted over to Google Plus Local. And so part of Google's charge in terms of creating their own social network was, okay, how do we get more content? How can we build out our social network? One of the easiest things that they could have done, and what everyone predicted that they would do, was roll their Google Places, which is essentially their local platform, which feeds their mapping platform, roll that into Google Plus, and they call it Google Plus Local. And that happened at the end of May, and right now, it was a very, very easy way for Google to essentially add a lot more content and a lot more businesses to their Google Plus social network, is by converting over all those businesses from Places over to Local. And Deanna's going to talk a little bit about that and about the merge between Google Plus Business and Google Plus Local.
Yeah. Okay, so very recently, Google's actually started the process of then taking those Google Plus Local pages, which were previously Google Places pages, and actually merging them with Google Plus Business pages, which are those pages with the social capabilities. So essentially, you're going to end up with your business listing, which was always kind of a static listing, and then that's going to now have the social capabilities. So here is an example of an already integrated page. This is a meatball shop, and you can see that they're able to post, but they're actually in the Plus Local category there if you look on the left-hand side. And basically, they have all of the social capabilities now, such as hosting a hangout, sharing to their circles, posting photos, videos, wall posts, and whatever else Google decides to incorporate with these Google Plus pages. So once your page is merged, your listing is no longer going to operate like a static listing. Now it's going to become increasingly important to be managing and updating your content and engaging with those people in your circles, because this is going to start to affect some of your search results. Google is really pushing for more social engagement. Part of that is because they are looking for that information, and they're also, it increases the validity of those listings. They can see that, okay, this business is obviously a very valid business. A lot of people are interacting with this business. People are writing reviews, but they're also plus-oneing their content, and they're also commenting on their content. So it just adds some more validity to your business and helps with your search results. So should you go ahead and verify and merge your page or not? There's a lot of discussion around this topic right now because it is such a new thing happening, and there's obviously going to be some bugs and some issues when you're the first ones to merge your page, and we've actually seen that on our page. But kind of our advice to businesses is think about it this way. If you're a brick and mortar business and you have both a Google Plus Local page, previously that was the Google Places, and you also have a Google Plus Business page, which you've been already actively managing and updating, and you don't find re-verification a burden. And basically the re-verification process, if you're not familiar, Google is going to send you a postcard, and you're going to get a verification PIN, which you'll then enter online, and it takes about a week. It's not too difficult, but for some businesses that may be an issue. But if you don't find that as an issue, we say go ahead and why not update your listing. And then for businesses with multiple locations that find it difficult to postcard verify, maybe you should stop and think about whether you really want to verify and merge your page. Service area or at-home businesses, it's currently not available to merge those at this point because the address is unlisted. And then businesses that have no need for social or just want to avoid the hassle of verification. So there's several things that verified Google Plus pages can do and other pages cannot. So one of those is the Google Plus box. Only verified pages are going to be considered for this prime spot on the Google search page. So you'll see that they're displaying the latest posts, they're displaying +1s and activity from those within your circles that have recently interacted with that page. And one thing that we found that's just really interesting is that pages have to have posted within the last 24 hours to get a spot in the Google Plus box. We actually did a little experiment, and we saw it was actually Audi, and they had posted in the last 24 hours, but it was about to be past that point, and we did PowerPoint, and they were no longer listed in that Google Plus box. So that's pretty interesting. Google is obviously really encouraging people to be active on their pages. And then you have the Google Plus Direct Connect. Essentially, this is just a way for customers to directly connect with your Google Plus page. If you type a plus before your brand name, they'll be taken directly to your Google Plus page. So this is something that you can use similar to like a Twitter handle, put on your promotional material, and I mean, everybody is searching on Google, so it's just an easy way for them to go directly to your Google Plus page. So like we talked about, there's several advantages to verifying and merging your page, and one of those is you'll then only have one page to manage. If you already have a Google Plus business page and a Google Plus local page, and you're managing both through separate interfaces, once you merge, you'll be able to manage that page just through the Google Plus. And then updates are pushed through more quickly, which is nice. You don't have to wait as long for Google to update your business listing. And then you'll obviously have the social capabilities. You'll be able to use the Direct Connect, and you'll also be considered for that Google Plus box. So if you are interested in verifying and merging your business, we do have a blog post on our website that's going to explain how you can go ahead and do that. So go ahead and check that out when you have time. So some key takeaways for Google Plus, like we talked about, growing your Google Plus circles is extremely important. You're obviously going to have greater visibility with the personalized search results as more and more people add you to their circles. And then also activity from social circles or plus ones, when they're displayed next to an organic listing, we've seen that click-through rates can improve by as much as 10 to 20%. So on those Google searches, if they see a plus one next to it, they're more likely to click on your organic listing. And then also along that same line, when plus one activity is displayed next to a paid search ad, click-through rates have improved by 5 to 10% according to Google. And then, like we just talked about, verified Google Plus pages get a little extra benefits as far as with the search, and also just easier connectivity. And then Jay is going to talk a little bit about Siri and Apple's plan with search. So.
Right. So you may have heard in the news there was a new iPhone that launched last week. I know it didn't get much attention, but you know, there was something called an iPhone 5 that launched very recently. But yeah, that came out. That actually launched a week ago, or was available a week ago. A couple days before that, Apple also released their newest operating system, mobile operating system, iOS 6, which came out on Wednesday. And people, by Friday, there were already over 15 million people that had upgraded to iOS 6. And this is important because one of the things that happened with this is some changes. And a lot of the changes are because of this head-to-head sort of you know, the competitive nature of Google and Apple. And you know, they made some changes with this new operating system. You know, and one of those, you know, of course, you also may have heard that they dropped the YouTube from that system. So now basically Google has to provide a separate app for YouTube if people want to have YouTube on their phone, on their mobile devices, on their Apple devices. So this competitive, because of this competition, the competitive nature of these two companies going head to head, again with Google, you know, on having their own Android phone and operating systems, and then Apple having their own mobile devices, there's been some changes. And so part of that is Apple has dropped Google Maps from their iOS 6. And they've actually released their new Apple Maps platform, which is very interesting. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that, because what this has done is that now if you have an Apple device, a mobile device that has iOS 6, all those apps that were potentially on your device that were pointing to the Google Maps application on the device, they no longer point to that. There's no longer an ability to actually use Google Maps on the new iOS. It's all pointing to the new Apple Maps platform. And it's a platform that Apple's actually created using other partners that have local search content, local content for local business content, and it's very interesting because now, whereas Google was, again, providing the primary source of mapping for that entire platform operating system, they're no longer doing it. So it's a big change in the mapping of how those devices are being used, and like I said, people are, you know, upgrading to this new iOS, so Now it's like, okay, what's going to happen with the Google Mapping platform, and will there be a Google Map in the future? Because already, if you just do just a quick search of news on Apple Maps, there's been a lot of criticism because, again, a lot of people think that maybe this was kind of a half-baked launch for them. But, I think knowing Apple, they're going to do everything they can to make it as best of a mapping platform that they can, and they're already beginning to do that with, integrating with partners such as Yelp. And what Yelp is doing for that particular platform or their particular mapping platform is that they've got access. So if you're doing a search for something in Apple Maps, you're going to get the content that was actually provided from Yelp. So you're going to get their address, you're going to get the business information, you can get directions to the business from your location. In addition to that, you're also going to see images from Yelp. And because it's integrated with Yelp, you can also, if you're in Apple Maps and you want to provide additional information, you can provide that, and it's going to go through that Yelp platform. So, partnering closely with Yelp, which has a lot of local content, has been a big step for Apple Maps, and I think it was, a good move for them, because to create all that local content on their own would have just taken forever to do. So it was really smart to do that for them, because Yelp had all that content and also has all the reviews. So you can actually access through Apple Maps, you can access that Yelp content, reviews, photos, and then have that same type of engagement in terms of being able to provide tips, check in at local businesses, and then also with the benefit of having Siri on these mobile devices. And Siri is essentially search engine for the voice search engine for these Apple devices. Having that can also provide additional support for their mapping platform, because now you can ask Siri, where should I go, or what's the closest coffee shop to me, or ask those type of questions, and then they can actually give you the directions through Apple Maps, and then they're also provided they provide voice directions. So when we talk about Siri, again, Siri is the search engine for Apple and these mobile devices, and it's going to be, even, and a lot of people, when it first came out, it's like, it was kind of almost a joke in a way, because it's like, oh, this is funny, this is Siri, but no, really, it's becoming more and more of a search engine, because now you've got local content on your phone through Apple Maps and through Yelp, and when you actually ask Siri, again, where's a nearby restaurant, I'm looking for, a pizza place, I want coffee or whatever, you can ask those queries into Siri, and you're going to get that local content delivered to you via Apple Maps. So for Siri search, it's really important for business. So you've got to make sure that you've got keywords about your business, in your business listing through Apple Maps, through Yelp, and be very specific about, what types of products and services that you sell, because again, people are using these keywords. So, for example, I'm looking for a t-shirt printing company. Well, make sure that t-shirt printing company is, is part of your business listing, is part of the keywords that you're using, for Yelp and for Apple Maps. Making sure that the information about your business in terms of the address, the hours of operation, and again, the keywords that I was just referring to, that's consistent across all these different local search directories, because again, as Apple Maps grows, they're going to continue to incorporate additional partners into their system, because they want to have the biggest, the best local search directory for their operating devices and local mapping for other mobile devices that they possibly can have. And what it means is I'm relying on a lot of information and not just Yelp, because Yelp is, as great as Yelp is and as many users as Yelp already has, there's still a lot more content out there. And for Apple, it's like, where can they find that content? So if you're a local business, if you're a brand and you've got many locations, it's extremely important to make sure that all that information is accurate across all the different local directories that exist out on the internet. And of course, whatever you can do in terms of, we talked about Facebook, things you can do in Facebook in terms of advertising and sponsored listings. We talked about Google+. All these things that you're doing from a social media standpoint, again, optimizing those places are also going to help, because Siri is going to continue to pull in information and it continues to improve. So where that information is coming from, it's going to come from a multitude of sources. So again, again, this is really basic stuff. It's your basic SEO 101 type stuff, but it's extremely important. And a lot of people forget. It's like, oh, I don't even have a Business Plus page. Well, you should have a Business Plus page because, again, these are signals that are going to be used, whether it's Apple Maps or it's Facebook or just a general, Google search. These are definitely signals that are going to be used. And then, of course, Siri loves mobile websites. So if you've got a website, make sure, if you already have a desktop website that's viewable on a PC or whatever, it's very important that you've also got a mobile optimized site because, again, more often than not, a lot of these, on a mobile device, especially with Siri, they're going to direct you to that mobile site. And you're going to get a higher preference in mobile searches if you've got a mobile optimized website. And then reviews. Reviews are so important, and I know this is, again, going back to, sort of the basics, but, getting reviews, generating reviews, whether it's on, on Google, whether it's Yelp, those are extremely important. Those definitely get factored into search results and increasing and improving your search results. So whatever you can do to get more reviews, encourage people that are patronizing your business or users, followers to write reviews, that's definitely going to be an important factor. So let's talk about a little bit about what's ahead in terms of social marketing and marketing automation. And this is really the direction, and I think, in terms of seeing what's out there and seeing how a lot of the convergence is happening between social and local and mobile, you're seeing a lot more of platforms that are providing an automation. And when we mean automation, what we're talking about is having a system so that you can actually go to a dashboard, that you can actually access a lot of your social networks all in one place, access your local content all in one place, to be able to go there, optimize, be able to communicate through those channels all in one place, and automate it. So, for example, if you want to send out a message through Facebook, if you want to send out a message through Google+, if you want to send out a Twitter or a tweet through Twitter, you can all do that in one place. You can schedule that. You can do different things with it and essentially automate it. And not just for, like, let's say a brand, but we're talking about multiple businesses because, as we know, things are getting more and more hyper-local. People want to know what's around them and want to engage with those businesses that are around them. So what's an easy way to do that? It's through, that type of automation where you can actually have a place to be able to control all that in one place very easily and be able to engage very easily. And I think that's always been the biggest challenge for businesses, especially businesses with many locations, because it's like, okay, well, I've got a lot of locations, but how do we get a message out, a local message out to the people, that, in one place is different than a different location on, the opposite side of the country, for example. And having a platform or the ability to do that and automate that is really the direction that we're going. You're seeing that a lot more with companies that are big into local search, companies that are big into social media, is bringing that together and being able to, having a tool to be able to do all that in one place. And you can see some of the quotes here. Social media is another digital marketing tool that will soon become a commonplace with more popular marketing automation systems. Channels and methods such as digital lead tracking, website landing pages, email marketing, and search optimization. It's kind of doing that all in one place. So again, looking ahead, it's really about being able to automate and have as much control and management over all these channels because again, it seems to be the biggest pain point and question that we always hear a concern is how do we manage for all of our businesses? How do we do this? How do we, yes, we got Facebook, but how do we do Google+? But having it all in one place and being able to automate it is definitely, it's here right now in some instances, and I think it's only going to get bigger as we go forward.
Thank you, Jay and Deanna. A lot of great information here, and I know it's a lot to process, and it's hard to process everything in a short, 35, 40-minute webinar. So if you want, you can go to our Sim Partners e-Resource Center and download our Google+ local ebook, which will help you process some of this information and also teach you how to merge your listings, etc. All right, so from here we'll go to any questions that you may have. I know we've received a couple throughout the presentation, but again, please just write those questions on the right-hand side of your screen on the QA section, and we'll make sure those are answered. Okay, I'm just pulling up a couple right now. John asked, I merged my Google Plus business page with my Google listing and it worked, but yesterday I noticed it was not merged. Do I need to do this process again?
Okay, well, I can take that question. So we actually ran into the same problem. We had merged our Google Plus business page and our Google Plus local page, and they did separate. One thing that you can do, there isn't a process. Google doesn't have a process in place where you can actually re-verify or anything like that. But what you can do is go to the Google forums, and we can provide a link to you. Get in contact with you and provide a link to these Google forums. But basically, post what problems you're seeing along with the link to your Google Plus page, and explain what's going on. And there are people on there who are in touch with Google representatives that can actually look at the back end of the site and see what happened and remerge it for you. We actually just went through this process just this week, and our page is remerged. So everything is good with that now. So I hope that answers your question, and that's, to the best of my knowledge, the only way that you can actually go ahead and re-verify and remerge those pages.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, Deanna. And if you have any follow-up questions, if you need more insight, please feel free to contact us, and you'll see Jay and I's contact information on your screen. I can also give you Deanna's as well. Some more questions rolling in. Phil asks, which form of Facebook advertising would you recommend doing first? What's more effective?
I think it really depends upon, what your goals are. I think they accomplish different things, and I like traditional just because, one, you're getting additional exposure and awareness to potentially an audience that isn't following you on Facebook and that you want to get as a follower on Facebook because you're putting out the right message of the product or service that you know people are going to engage with or be interested in. So that's, for me, I like that. I think that's a very easy way to get into it. But I think, Deanna is probably really big on sponsored stories, right?
Yeah, I think from my experience, at least, one of the best ways to start out is starting out with some sponsored stories and really building up the engagement on your page, because anytime you're posting on your page, that's essentially free advertising for you. You have that audience built up, and you have, thousands of followers. Those are, potentially thousands of people that are going to see your message. So it's almost like once you've gained the followers, it's almost like a free advertisement on your page. So I think I would start with some sponsored stories, sponsored posts, build up that audience, and you can always run some more traditional advertisements at the same time with a different campaign.
Thanks, Deanna. I believe that answers that question. Again, if you have any more questions, give us a ring or email us. Matt asked, where is Siri pulling their information from now, and are they no longer working with Google?
Well, Siri is actually pulling information from a variety of sources. Of course, they're using they are using Google as a search engine in terms of what's available. So it's using kind of a background of local content, but also search content. So they are going to pull that information from there. Again, I would, it would be easy to say, well, Apple is going to wean themselves from Google entirely, but it's hard to do when Google is the #1 search engine out there. But there is a variety of sources. So you've got, again, you've got not only Google, but you've also got Bing. You've also got a lot of the local directory content, such as Yelp, which they're going to lean on more and more for local information. So if it is a local query, such as where's the nearest coffee shop, where can I get T-shirts printed, things like that, they are probably going to lean towards their own the partnerships that they're making now with companies such as Yelp. And I think going forward, they're going to do that more and more and more, and you will see it less reliant on Google as they continue to develop their search engine, because essentially that's what Siri is. It's Apple's own search engine, and they're just growing that as they move forward.
Thanks, Jay. Then Joe asked, now that Apple changed to iOS 6, what steps should I be doing to ensure my brand is found on the new platform?
Well, I think one, make sure that if you've got a business or a brand, make sure that it's in Yelp and that it's optimized in Yelp. There are things you can do, such as Yelp Enhanced, which you can actually pay depending upon the type of business and what level, anywhere from like $70 to $100 a year for your business in Yelp to get an enhanced listing, which I would highly recommend if you have a local business and you have products and services to sell. Definitely going that route and getting your listing as enhanced and optimized as possible in Yelp. That's really the first step, in terms of what Apple's doing with the new iOS 6. And then I think from there, it's going through and making sure that your business, the information is correct on all these local directories throughout the internet. There's so many local directories. I know it's not easy to do, but you can easily type in your phone number of your business into a search engine and find out where it's listed. Start looking to find out if the information is correct, because you do need to make sure that address and contact information is correct in all these different local directories, because again, yeah, Apple is pulling from Yelp initially, but they're going to be using a lot of other third-party content data providers for those listings.
Thanks, Jay. Well, I think that's all the questions that we have for today. Again, if you have any additional questions or want a one-on-one consultation, just give us a call or shoot us an email. We'll make sure to get those questions answered for you. Thank you so much for your participation today, and we'll make sure this webinar is sent out to you via email. You can also visit the eResource Center for any additional information. Thanks again, and have a great rest of your day.